All right, so in this video, we're going to continue forward with the factoring by grouping of quadratic trinomials, also known as the AC method, okay? The big difference here is that we're going to have a leading coefficient that is greater than 1, okay? Doesn't change the process, but just makes the factors look a little different than it did when the leading coefficient was 1, all right? Steps are exactly the same. If possible, factor out a GCF. In the 3 examples I'm going to do, there's not going to be a GCF. We just want to concentrate on the AC method. Step 2, multiply A times C. Then we're going to factor AC to find the value that gives this B value, positive or negative. Once we get that, we're going to split that middle term. We're going to split this middle term into 2 terms based on those values or those factors from step 3. And then we're going to factor by grouping, okay? So number 1 here, notice we've got A is equal to 2, B is equal to 11, C is equal to 12, all right? There is no GCF, so we're going to move on to multiplying A times C, which gives me positive 24. Now remember, B here is a positive 11, so I'm only looking for positive factors of 24, okay? So let's find those factors, and this should say 24. Find those factors of 24 that give B. So 1 and 24 sums to 25, so that doesn't work. Okay, 2 and 12 sums to 14, so that doesn't work. So let's go on to 3 and 8. 3 and 8 does sum to 11 here, so these are the 2 factors of AC that I want to use. Okay, so now we're going to rewrite that 11x here as 3x plus 8x. Okay, so we're going to rewrite 11x as 3x plus 8x. Okay, so you can see the change there. All right, so now we just factor by grouping. Let's group the first 2 terms together and the last 2 terms together. All right, if we look at this first binomial, they only have an x in common, so let's take out an x, and we're left inside parentheses with 2x plus 3. Over here, 8x and 12 are both divisible by 4, so we take out a 4, and we're left with 2x plus 3. Remember, these binomials should match. They do, okay? So then I'm going to be left with my answer here. I'm going to have x, okay, plus 4. Remember, we're going to put those 2 terms together. And then the binomial that comes down, or that matches, is going to come down. So x plus 4 times 2x plus 3. Remember, check your work. Multiply this using the distributive property or the FOIL method, and you should get what we started with, okay? And you will. All right, so let's move on to example 2, all right? Same process, only notice that B is negative, so we're going to be looking for negative factors because our C value is positive. Okay, no GCF. Okay, A times C is 15, so I'm looking for negative factors of 60 that combine to give me negative 16. Again, I need negative factors because B has a negative coefficient, okay, or is negative. All right, so we'll just start at the top. Negative 1 and negative 60 combines to be negative 61. That doesn't work. Let's move on down the list. Oop, get rid of that. Negative 2 and negative 30 combines to be negative 32. That doesn't work. Keep on going. 60 has a lot of factors. Negative 3 and negative 20 combines to be negative 23. Notice we're getting closer, but still not there. Keep going down the list. Negative 4 and negative 15 is negative 19. Still doesn't match. Let's try negative 5. And negative 12, well, that sums to negative 17, still doesn't match. There's only one more, so get out of that. So negative 6 and negative 10 combines to be negative 16. So we had to go through 6 different pairs of factors. That doesn't happen often, but with numbers like 60 that has so many factors, sometimes you might have to do that, all right? So we want to rewrite then negative 16x as negative 6x plus a negative 10x. All right, so we're going to rewrite, like I said, this using this. So let's substitute that in there. And now we can factor by grouping, okay? Group these 2 terms together, and group these 2 terms together. All right, so let's look at this binomial. 4 and 6, both divisible by 2. X squared and x, both divisible by x, so I can take out a 2x. When I do that, I'm left with 2x minus 3 on the inside. Remember, we're dividing this binomial by that greatest common factor to see what's left inside, okay? With the second one, negative 10x and positive 15, we want to take out a negative. Remember that. 10 and 15 are both divisible by 5, so we're going to take out a negative 5. and we're left with 2x minus 3. Again, to reiterate, 2x minus 3, these binomial factors have to match up. They do, okay? So my first binomial, remember, is going to be 2x minus 5. And my second binomial is going to be the one that matches up, 2x minus 3. So this is going to be my answer. As always, distributive property, FOIL method, multiply this by times this by, and you should get the trinomial that we started with. And I promise you will. All right, number 3. In this case, leading coefficient's 3, b value is negative 2, and then my c value here is negative 8. So remember, when I've got a c value that's negative, the signs inside of my parentheses in my answer are going to be opposite. One's going to be positive, one's going to be negative, okay? So 8 times c, no GCF, 8 times c is negative 24. My b value is negative, remember? So when I'm looking at factors for negative 24, I want the bigger factor to be negative, okay? So I'm going to start with 1 and negative 24. All right, so that gives me negative 23. Doesn't work. Let's go on down the list. Other factors of negative 24, 2 and negative 12. Doesn't work. That gives me negative 10. Let's do 3 and negative 8. Doesn't work. Gives me negative 5. So I'm almost there. So let's try 4 and negative 6. Okay, 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. Those combine to be negative 2, my b value. So these are the factors I'm going to use to rewrite negative 2x. So we're going to rewrite it as 4x and a negative 6x. Okay? So we want to factor that by grouping. We want to replace negative 2x with 4x minus 6x. Okay? And now we group the terms together again, just like always. First two terms together, they both are only divisible by x. And it leaves me 3x plus 4 on the inside. Negative 6x and negative 8, only divisible by negative 2. We got to take out a negative 2, and that leaves me with 3x plus 4. All right, so again, pair this with this. That's going to be my first binomial, x minus 2. And then my bi that matches should be 3x plus 4. Sorry for that typo. Okay, so always check this. X times 3x gives me 3x squared. X times 4 gives me 4x. This gives me negative 6x, which is negative 2x. And negative 2 times positive 4 is negative 8. Okay? So AC method really doesn't change when A is greater than 1. Just the greatest common factor you have in each of your binomials may be a little more difficult to find. Okay? So that's it.